It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. It's the cheap challenge. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, it's never too late to awake you. King Buddha, it's never too late for mistake to. King Buddha, shut up or shut up. King Buddha, shut up or shut up. Fuck. Karen.
Episode. It's your boy King Buddha, aka Chi from the Chi Challenge, and let's give it up to everybody in the chat. Welcome to today's episode, chat. Today we got a jam-packed episode. We got one of those TikTok icebergs I'll be watching all day. So now, today I felt like I want to watch a TikTok iceberg with my chat. You know what I'm saying? So today we're gonna be watching the TikTok iceberg, and it's gonna be crazy, chat. It's going to be crazy. So everybody, welcome to today's episode. It's gonna be full effect, and let me see what we got cooking. Ba-da-da-da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. And we're gonna see what we gonna do. La 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 la. All right, so let's see. Let's get right to it. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Having me a passion fruit slushy from Snack Station, and we're about to eat something from Snack Station too. But first and foremost, we're gonna roll up, roll up, roll up. Hey, so everybody, thank you for tapping in. YouTube, Twitch, Kick, everybody. Hope everybody's excited. We are looking good in the hood today. Man, let's make sure we got Kick monitored. Let's go. Boom, boom. Man, we are monitoring viewership, making sure everybody's tapped in, making sure everybody tapped in. And we live, chat. We live. Welcome to today's episode. You already see the vibes. You know what I mean? We are active, chat. So today, let's see, where is that iceberg? That iceberg is somewhere around. Let me see. Hey, we growing. Where's that iceberg? It's over here. Do 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 do. Here we go. Now,
Whoa.
first, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I just built a budgeting app with Base 44.
Chat.
Guys.
AB
just
Crazy
looking
is the
up.
first one we're gonna watch
Kid.
by Abysmal
Interesting.
Detective.
Can it generate
Shouts to
reports?
him. Everybody go follow him. You know what I mean? But this shit right here is crazy.
32 moments, 7 levels. I spent hours going through TikTok and compiled the most disturbing moments ever caught live into one iceberg.
Yep.
We'll start with some chaotic
We're gonna
ones
start
first.
with some
Here
chaotic
we
shit.
go. Well, the cases get so horrifying, you'll delete the app and burn your phone.
Oh, God.
So let's start at the tip.
Let's start at the tip, chat.
Level 1, Mizzy. He walked into a stranger's home, called it a prank, and the internet made him famous for it. This is the story of 18-year-old Bakari Ogaro, better known as Mizzy, the TikTok creator who
Macario
kept pushing the
Ogaro.
line between viral and criminal until the backlash followed him offline.
Oh, God.
Before Mizzy existed, Bakari already had a wild history. In June 2022, he was arrested for snatching a woman's phone and trying to get away on an electric bike. And while that case was still pending, he decided to take his antics online and create the Mizzy persona. He didn't do the usual scream at strangers pranks.
Of
The
course
boy went
not.
completely reckless, like riding bikes through shops, jumping on counters at McDonald's, and getting into
Okay.
random people's cars pretending they were his Uber. But those pranks only got him a string of insults and a couple of views. So he decided to up his game
What
even
it
more
do,
and started
TTV?
harassing people, including Orthodox Jewish men in Stamford Hills. That attention backfired, leading to his arrest in January 2023 for assault. And even that didn't slow him down.
Of course
He went
not.
on to stealing an elderly woman's dog in a park and running off with it.
Oh, my
He
God.
filmed himself asking strangers, "Do you want to die?" and even destroyed books in a library. But the stunt that truly made headlines was breaking into
Not
random
cool.
houses. In one video, he entered a family's home, sat on their couch, and refused to leave until told multiple times. That clip went viral.
Oh, God.
Police arrested him in May 2023. He was fined and given a criminal behavior order banning him from posting similar content.
Wow.
But guess what? Within days, he was back online, appearing on Piers Morgan and uploading more clips, including one where he interfered with a train. That led to more charges. By November, the court sentenced him to 18 weeks in prison, extended his social media ban for 2 years, and fined him again. Cold Woman. In the early hours of May 8, 2021, a late-night drive down Packer Drive Northeast in Belmont, Michigan took an unexpected turn. Every bit of it was documented on TikTok. A couple of friends were cruising along the barely lit road along the Rogue River when something caught their attention. A figure was kneeling by the roadside, soaked through and shivering. At first, they weren't sure what they were seeing, so they circled back, trying to make sense of the scene.
Nah,
It was
that's
a woman.
scary.
She was crying, seemingly disoriented, struggling against the cold, and something about her presence screamed urgency. So instead of leaving her there, the friends stayed close, called 911, and recorded the entire encounter. When authorities arrived, they discovered signs she had crawled out of the river, likely fighting for her life against the cold. At the hospital, she was treated for hypothermia, but that was only the beginning of the mystery. The woman was identified as being from Kalamazoo, which was over 60 miles away, and she had no memories of how she ended up in Belmont or how she fell into the river. Authorities could piece together her physical struggle, but her mental journey remained a blank slate.
That's
She
bullshit.
survived thanks in large part to the quick thinking of the friends, but the why and how of her ordeal remain unsolved. Smooth Sanchez. Incel culture has always thrived in the darker corners of the internet, but Malik Sanchez, who called himself Smooth Sanchez, tried to make it mainstream. On live streams across Manhattan, he walked up to strangers and tried to provoke them. He'd start with a friendly question, then switch to insults.
I have a question, babe. Can I get your number?
See,
You
shit
look
like
like
that,
anyway.
that type of behavior, chat.
You look like Lord Farquaad if he was a female.
See?
And with women, it usually turned into body shaming,
That's
comments,
crazy.
or the universal rants about being wronged by the world and
He's
becoming
a
an incel.
fucking piece of shit.
He
let me
openly
tell you.
praised Elliot Rodger, the
Anybody that does that type of bullshit, yo, I'm not mad that anything bad happens to them because you're a fucking piece of shit. First of all, you're trolling people, and then not only are you trolling people, but then when you are trolling them, you mad that they not getting trolled. Like, come on, my man, stop playing with me. That's that bullshit. Don't nobody applaud this guy right here. Don't nobody feel bad for this guy right here. This guy right here is a dickhead. You know what I mean?
man who took the lives of 6 people in
Look at that, he took
2014
the
after
lives of
blaming
6
women
people.
for rejecting him. What's even worse is that Smooth Sanchez didn't just reference him, he believed the victims deserved it.
Fucking buzz that shit for Elliot Rodgers all fucking day. I bust that shit for Travis Bickle. Travis Bickle. Yeah, Travis Bickle, taxi driver. Fucking real ass motherfucker, man.
That alone is messed up on so many levels,
Yeah, that's
and
fucked
no
up.
sane person can ever justify the actions of a masked extremist. When people
The
react to
username
his
is the
blatant
same as the
comments, he
channel,
pull out
baby
pepper
girl. Is
spray,
the
which is
cheat challenge.
If you're a producer who hates AI, this plugin might change your mind. This is Reimagine in Co-Producer. You can take
fans called a content spray and spray someone,
Oh,
then
hell
claim
no.
self-defense while yelling that they were too
Oh, hell
sensitive.
no.
The most disturbing part was how comfortable he seemed making women visibly afraid. In 2020, he
hell
climbed
no,
the
Chad.
Queensboro Bridge and live-streamed the whole stunt
that-
as police
this
rushed to the
motherfucker? I
scene.
know about this
People
motherfucker.
thought he was attempting suicide.
I know about
Instead,
this
he shouted
motherfucker.
that he was only here for fun. After officers brought him down, he was taken for a psychiatric evaluation rather than being formally detained. In one video, he approached diners at an outdoor restaurant and announced a fake bomb threat while shouting religious phrases
I
and
know about
saying
this
he
guy.
would detonate it.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Bomb detonation in
Oh,
in 2
God, you
minutes.
see,
That
that's
shit,
not even
I'm
a
gonna
joke.
Allah, I'm gonna do it.
If
I'm
you
gonna
do some shit
it
like
for
that,
Allah.
you should be arrested for
Allah,
that.
Allah.
People ran in panic. 911 calls were made, but for Malik, it was just another joke that caused a 5-star chaos.
That's crazy.
Eventually, the FBI
That should-
got
that should be
involved.
illegal,
They
let me
searched
tell
his
you.
apartment and found Glock magazines. There was
That's
no gun,
illegal.
but the magazine and his obsession with mass killing was enough to raise eyebrows. Plus, hoax threats are very much illegal, so they already had solid grounds to arrest him. But he pled guilty to the charge and avoided prison, though he did receive home confinement and probation with
Home
strict
confinement?
monitoring.
That's not enough.
Rodolfo Marquez. Rodolfo Marquez, better known online as Fofo Marquez, built his
Fofo.
brand on indulging. He had luxury cars, designer clothes, nightclubs, and millions of followers across platforms. So he leaned into the image of being untouchable and even called himself the self-proclaimed King of Mexico.
Oh, that
For
guy.
a while, the internet played
Yeah,
along.
this guy got murked.
Then, on July 7th, 2022,
Rest
he
in
decided
peace.
to let the world know how much money he had.
Not a
In
good idea,
Guadalajara,
let me
Rodolfo
say.
and his entourage parked several luxury cars across the Matute Ramos Bridge, blocking traffic on one of the city's main routes.
This guy right here,
His
that's
cars piled
crazy.
up behind him, horns blaring. He filmed himself bragging that he had shut it down just because he could. He talked about money and power and joked about dancing on the bridge while ordinary drivers waited.
This right
the video
here,
went viral.
I would not
almost
have done this
instantly,
even if they
but
paid
the
me.
reaction wasn't admiration.
Even if they
Locals
paid
were
me.
furious, calling him reckless and arrogant. The backlash was so severe that city officials got involved. Authorities required him to issue a public apology and clean under the same bridge he had blocked as community service. On top of that, the video he had done it all for was
chill,
removed
you
and his account
wildin'.
faced consequences. Now that should have been the end of it.
That
But
should have been the end.
Jalisco New Generation Cartel,
These guys
commonly
right
known
here, the
as
guys who burned down
CJNG,
Mexico just
allegedly
recently.
entered the conversation. They circulated a message online warning Rodolfo not to disrespect the territory they controlled.
Hmm?
The threat was not officially verified, but in a region where CJNG had documented history of extreme
I don't even know why
violence,
people play with
even
cartels.
rumors carried weight.
They
After
not
that
the ones you
message,
play with.
Rodolfo reportedly went into hiding with private security.
No,
Public
that's not
appearances
enough.
slowed,
That's
and the
not
whole
enough.
King of Mexico persona was quietly shattered.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Level 2. the
I'm
forbidden
surprised he's not
interview.
dead.
Some live streams end with a cliffhanger. This one nearly ended with gunfire. In December 2024, British kick streamer and influencer boxer Ed Matthews traveled to Colombia to film content in a high-risk neighborhood. Ed was already known for his bold personality and appearances in Misfits boxing events, but this time, he decided to one-up his game. Instead of sticking to controlled environments, he sat
He's
down with alleged local
wildin'.
gang members and streamed the entire conversation live. At first, the conversation seemed bold but manageable as long as both parties behaved.
No.
He asked how long they had been selling drugs
No.
and how much money they made in a good week.
How long have you been
No,
selling
you don't do
or
that.
whatever you do?
$20 million, $5 million US dollars.
The numbers, when translated to US dollars, caught Ed off guard and he reacted with visible surprise. And that reaction didn't sit well.
Not
The
with
mood in the
them.
room subtly shifted, and then he pushed
As a music producer, if you have Auto-Tune Unlimited, you have everything, and I'll show you why. Just take a listen to how I took this basic vocal.
further. Questions about income turned into more intrusive territory, and reportedly, Ed even went as far as asking if they had ever killed anyone.
Oh, hell no.
Anyone in the room could have sensed it wasn't the right move. One gang member moved closer, his body language changed, and the energy stopped feeling like content.
Oh, God.
Suddenly, the situation escalated. Voices rose, threats were heard, and eventually firearms were drawn. The cameraman lowered the lens, and the livestream abruptly cut out. Viewers were left staring at a disconnected screen, unsure whether they had just watched a publicity stunt or the beginning of
I'll
something
follow
far
you,
more
TTV.
serious.
I got you,
Fortunately,
Kylie.
Ed and his crew were
Thank
later
you so much
released
for dropping that
unharmed.
Discord.
No one was shot, and there were no hostages. Still, the last 10 seconds of the live stream were enough to haunt audiences for life.
That's scary.
Sabrina Duran. For the TikTok fans, she was a
Sabrina.
beauty influencer. But for the underground world,
not
she was
her.
the narco queen.
Not
This
the
is the
narco
story
queen.
of Sabrina Duran, a Chilean TikToker who built her online persona around fashion, beauty, and lifestyle content. However, behind all that glitz and glam, she was deeply involved in narcotics trafficking. Court records show she had been connected to that world since her early teens. By her 20s, authorities considered her a gang leader operating mainly in Santiago.
Gang leader.
2 lives, 1 algorithm. That split identity caught up to her in 2022 when Chilean authorities raided multiple properties linked to her group. She tried to escape during the operation but was surrounded and arrested. During the raid, police also seized cash, weapons,
She better not talk.
and she was sentenced to prison. That arrest was a shocker for her followers, but they weren't nearly ready for what came next. After 3 months of silence, Sabrina started posting again, this time from a prison cell.
Wow.
Now, prisons in most parts of the world aren't exactly content creator friendly. So, how did she have a phone? Why did it look so comfortable? Those questions only fueled curiosity, and her follower count climbed
Catrina
even higher.
Guzman.
But behind the scenes, reports
She's a
suggested she
goat.
cooperated with prosecutors in exchange for a reduced sentence.
She's
That
the
decision brought her
goat.
early release, but in the long run, it proved to be her biggest mistake.
Uh-huh.
After about a year,
Definitely
she was
biggest
released,
mistake.
reunited with her son, and returned to TikTok with the usual
How
content.
crazy are you? Yo,
But
you
among
got
her
caught and you
500,000
gonna be on
followers,
live?
not everyone was watching for entertainment. In October 2023, she casually shared that she was going to a nail salon in Padre Hurtado. That small
Oh,
update
I heard about
revealed her
this.
location. When she reached the salon, gunmen were already waiting. They ambushed her in broad daylight. She tried to escape, but she didn't make it and was shot multiple times while the gunmen fled in her
R.I.P.
vehicle.
But that's why
The
you don't
reason
play
was
with these
unclear, but
cartels, man.
Most linked it to some
Why do
sort
these
of
people
gang
keep playing with
rivalry.
these cartels?
Ironically, after her death, her account gained even more followers and is
Yeah,
still
probably
on
haters.
TikTok. So, in a way, her digital persona outlived her. Gucci's discovery. Streamer Gucci's was out doing one of her usual IRL drinking
Oh,
streams,
man.
walking around with fellow streamers, stop speeding, joking with chat, and just
Stop
messing around
speeding.
outside.
What type of name is
Then
that?
they saw someone lying on the sidewalk. At first, Gucci's brushed it off, assuming the person was asleep or maybe drunk.
What type
that
of
kind
name
thing
is
isn't unheard
Gucci?
of during late-night city streams.
Oh, look at
she
what
even
it-
seemed to deny the possibility that it could be anything worse. But as they got closer, the mood shifted. She called for the person, asking him to respond, but he didn't move. That's when it became clear. They had stumbled onto a dead body.
Oh, God.
The joking stopped as
No
the tone
way.
entirely shifted and
No
Gucci's
way.
laugh was replaced by screams.
No!
He's alive.
He's actually dead, dude.
No, he's alive. He might be dead.
I think he's
I
dead.
think this guy's dead.
Are you seriously? He's dead?
Dead, bro.
Aww.
I'll call 911, take the camera off it.
What makes this moment unsettling isn't drama or controversy, it's how sudden it was. One second they were laughing, the next, real-world tragedy is right there in front of thousands of viewers. The streamers immediately contacted emergency services and the broadcast was eventually cut. We tried looking into the identity of the man, but it was never disclosed, and the investigations were not made public. Mohit Moore. On May 21st, 2019, Najafgar, Delhi woke up to a scene that would shock even the most hardened locals. Mohit Moore, a 27-year-old gym instructor and TikTok sensation, was sitting in a photocopy shop scrolling through his smartphone when 2 helmeted gunmen stormed in. Reportedly, they said, "Let us make you a TikTok star," and then opened fire. Now, it's easy to look at this and think TikTok was to blame, but the story runs much deeper than that. Mohit had amassed over 500,000 followers in just 8 months, mainly because of his persona as a Haryanvi bad boy with a good heart that resonated with young audiences. In the small town of Najafgar, he was practically a local superstar. However, Mohit's fame intersected with a dangerous reality. He had helped a friend invest 30 lakhs in a property tied to a criminal network run by a man named Mangu. After Mangu's death, the property was controlled by a Pehelwani, the ruthless crime boss. Now, Mohit's friend demanded the money back, but Mohit refused, partly out of principle, partly because he simply couldn't. That refusal set the stage for the events of May 21st. His friend sought help from a criminal gang, and a teenage member was sent in to settle the score. He shot Mohit so many times that some of his teeth were shattered, and his face was disfigured beyond recognition. By the time the police arrived, Mohit was dead. And because of his fame, the case was not easy to bury. In the days that followed, police arrested the teen who carried out the assassination, but the mastermind behind it fled the city. Now with this, we've only scratched the surface. Beyond this point, the cases are about to get very real and very disturbing.
Very
So
disturbing.
hit subscribe, and let's keep going.
Everybody subscribe to his channel. This guy's
Level
fucking
3.
the best at
Clavicular's
iceberg making.
Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve,
I'll be
while
watching
most
all his
people were
icebergs all the
unwrapping
time.
gifts and logging off for the holidays, a live stream may have captured something far darker. A popular streamer, Brandon Peters, known online as Clavicular, was driving a Tesla
Clavicular?
Cybertruck during a live broadcast when a
That's,
man suddenly
Aiden
jumped
Ross's
onto the
people.
hood of the vehicle. The guy appeared to be yelling, making exaggerated faces, and holding up his phone as if filming the whole thing. Now, most people would have
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you. Just donate plasma.
gotten out of the car and confronted him, but Clavicular did none of that. Instead, someone inside the truck urged him to start driving, and he complied.
Oh my fucking
Start driving with this guy. Oh. Drive.
Seconds later, the vehicle moved forward. A loud impact could be heard, followed by a woman inside the car screaming in panic.
Oh my god!
Oh, shoot.
You really just ran him over.
Clavicular's response made the moment
That's
even
insane,
more
man.
unsettling.
That's the guy that
He
rolls
asked,
with Aiden
"Is he
Ross."
dead?" and followed it up with, "Hopefully."
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Hopefully.
This was meant to be
Hopefully.
content. It crossed into something much darker. But
Way
things
darker.
got worse when Clavicular posted an AI image of himself running over someone with the caption, "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes." And that doesn't exactly scream accident or panic. There are also claims that the same person may have harassed him at a previous event. If that is true, it could matter legally, and the whole case would shift into self-defense. Still, no confirmed arrest has been reported, and authorities have not publicly clarified the condition of the man who was allegedly hit. War live streams. If you have been on TikTok at any point in the past year, you've probably seen live streams of children sitting in front of a camera and repeating, "Help me," for hours. These are Syrian children growing up in the middle of a war that has lasted more than a decade. The conflict has pushed millions of families out of their homes, and many now live in displacement camps with very little access to jobs, a steady income, proper housing, or basic resources. When you're living in those conditions, options are limited. For some families, these clips have become the only way to reach people outside the camps and ask for support directly. What makes them harder to watch is not the fact that families are desperately asking for help, it is how the system around it works. A BBC investigation found that while some streams generate hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour in digital gifts, families received only a fraction of that money. TikTok takes a commission from virtual gifts, and on top of that, middlemen in the camps help set up accounts, manage equipment, and withdraw earnings, taking their own share as well. By the time the money reaches the families on screen, much of it is already gone. TikTok has stated that exploitative begging is not allowed and says it would take action, yet these streams continue to appear. And maybe it has something to do with the fact that the platform itself benefits from the views, the engagement, and the spending driven by these emotional moments. Hugo Jackson school incident. In 2022, a 15-year-old named Hugo Jackson decided to turn his walk to school into something much darker. Before entering the building, he opened Twitch and started a live stream. At first, it didn't look urgent. He played music and made a few casual remarks to the camera. But minutes later, he mounted his phone to his helmet and walked inside the school. The camera captured everything from his point of view. When he encountered a teacher who commented on his outfit, the situation escalated instantly, and he initiated an attack. Viewers were suddenly watching real violence unfold in real time, and it kept going. For about 25 minutes, the stream followed him through the hallways until police confronted him. At one point, he aimed an airsoft pistol at an officer, trying to force the officer to shoot him. The officer fired warning shots instead. Shortly after that, Hugo was arrested. The most important detail of this case was that none of this happened overnight. In his online history, there were signs of extremist symbols, an obsession with prior attacks, and conversations with another radicalized teen. Later, investigation showed he had been communicating online with another teen who carried out a similar attack. That morning, he had gotten dressed in black, put on a combat helmet with small Swedish flags attached, and packed a bag with 4 knives, 2 airsoft pistols, and protective gear. The intent was louder than ever. In court, he was sentenced to youth detention and ordered to pay damages. The disturbing moment. In April 2025, a popular Nigerian TikToker known as Disturbing was streaming from his phone in Ikorodu, Lagos. He was discussing the Justice for Mobad movement, something he had been vocal about for a long time. It felt like just another late night live. But seconds later, without any warning, he began to seize. Viewers watched in shock as his body convulsed, falling forward with the camera angle changing. At first, some people in the chat were confused. Others immediately sensed something was terribly wrong, and the comments turned frantic. What's worse is that so many were watching, yet none could help. His wife, Omawunmi, was in the kitchen cooking when it happened. She was alerted by a neighbor and a young boy who had witnessed him collapse. To make matters worse, the creator had hit his head on a stone and was bleeding heavily. So his wife rushed him to the hospital where he was placed on oxygen. However, despite the emergency efforts, he tragically passed away the following morning. Several viewers began floating rumors that the incident was spiritual or haunting, but Omawunmi eventually shared that this was not the TikToker's first seizure. He had a known medical condition and was on prescription medication. The live stream clip spread quickly online, and his tragic final moments became viral content. According to reports, disturbing was later buried according to his family's wishes.
That's crazy, Chad, that people could like just sit there and just watch it happen and nobody does anything about it. That is sad. That is sad.
Patrick. On the morning of February 20th, a quiet home in Carrollton, Georgia, turned into a crime scene no one saw coming. James and Kristen Brock were found shot to death in their bed after their little daughter discovered them and alerted her older sister. That older sister, Sarah Grace Patrick, quickly called 911, appearing to be another devastated family member caught in something unthinkable. The Brocks were known as devoted churchgoers and loving parents, so no one had anything against them to go on with such a barbaric attack. Ultimately, the case went cold for months. There were no signs of forced entry, nothing appeared stolen, and the couple had been killed while asleep, so there was no resistance either. Naturally, investigators began looking at every possibility. In cases like this, police often start close to home, not out of assumption, but because statistics demand it. Through all of it, Sarah Grace publicly grieved. She spoke at her parents' funeral, posted emotional TikToks about losing them. In one video, she cried and asked for prayers. In another, she shared old photos with a caption about never getting to say goodbye. To most people watching, she looked like a teenager dealing with the biggest loss of her life. But all that time, reality had been entirely different. Investigators were quietly building their case. In the end, digital footprints and timeline details all pointed towards one person, the teenage daughter, Sarah Grace.
Wow.
Authorities later said they had a mountain of evidence against her. As a result of this, she was arrested and formally charged with 2 counts of murder. Authorities have not yet publicly confirmed a clear motive, so all we can do is wonder what exactly was happening inside the house that led to Sarah pulling the trigger on her own parents. Allegedly. Phaedra Gaxiola. On the morning of November 5th, 2024, Phaedra Gaxiola stepped out of a gym in Tijuana and got into her car, not knowing it would be the last time she'd walk away safely. She had just finished her workout, sitting in her black Mercedes-Benz, when someone fired into her car through the open windows. The assailant then fled the scene in a gray Chevrolet HHR, and while some witnesses suggested it was a mass targeting, authorities believed she was deliberately attacked. Phaedra was only 24 and had an online presence as a fitness influencer and model with hundreds of thousands of followers across TikTok and Instagram. To her fans, she was the fitness girl, sharing workouts, modeling collaborations, and glimpses of her life.
I don't know how
behind
people
the post,
do this to people.
her life
Just for
had been
what?
shadowed by
The clicks and
danger. Years before, she survived a previous shooting while her then-boyfriend was killed. She also had publicly spoken out about domestic abuse, accusing a former Tijuana Municipal Police Director, Hector Villegas, of physically assaulting her during an Instagram Live. A few days before her death, she claimed an armed man allegedly tied to Hector had approached her. After the shooting, emergency responders rushed her to the hospital, but sadly, she didn't survive. Strangely, no official link has been confirmed between her past threats and the shooting, but the timing and circumstances suggest she was most likely targeted for speaking out.
Probably.
Tea Time 3. In November 2024, TikToker Tanisha McCarty-Roten, online known as Tea Time, was behind the wheel in Zion, Illinois, live streaming to her followers when everything changed in a split second. 59-year-old Darren Lucas was crossing the street when her SUV hit him. On the stream, viewers heard a loud thud and a sharp scream while the camera shook.
On camera?
What really happened wasn't fully clear until the viewers heard the words, "I just hit somebody," while her child watched from the back seat.
Hey,
I don't know, it was weird, like, so...
Oh my gosh, she's saying it so casually. Oh, I just hit somebody.
Darren was rushed to the hospital but sadly couldn't survive.
No.
What started as an ordinary drive turned into a tragedy unfolding in real
No.
time for thousands of strangers online. At first, many assumed she was under the influence, but later investigations ruled out that suspicion. However, in reality, her attention was on her phone, scrolling through comments and chatting with viewers instead of focusing on the road.
Oh, see, that's why you can't be on your
she stayed
phone,
at the scene
chat.
and called 911.
You cannot
Yet
be
the
on your
fallout
phone and
didn't end
streaming. I
there.
don't like to do that.
Screenshots and audio leaks of the live stream
If I'm in
quickly
a car and
circulated
somebody else
online,
is driving
sparking
upstream.
outrage. Critics pointed to the
Even when I
recklessness
have
not
done
only
that, I
because
don't
of the
really
loss
pay
of
attention
life,
to the
but
stream.
also the danger to her own child riding in the car. Days later, she returned online, trying to explain herself and even asking viewers to support her through cash apps. For many, that was the breaking point. Viewers called it tone-deaf and insensitive, and any benefit of the doubt she might have had was gone in that instant.
Yeah, how you
In
gonna
the
ask
end,
for help?
Tanisha was later
What
arrested
about the
and
guy who
charged
died?
with reckless
He
homicide
need help.
and aggravated use of communications devices. Seriously, folks, don't use your phone to that degree while you're driving. Like if you're putting on music or something, that's one thing. But while you're driving, don't even just be streaming and glancing at comments. That kind of distraction is just as bad as driving while drunk. There
That
are
is a
studies
fact.
that prove that. So
That's a fact.
please be careful.
That's a fact.
Prentice Robinson's tragic case. Prentice Robinson was a 55-year-old man from Wingate, North Carolina, who worked to improve his community. He regularly went live on Facebook to
Yeah.
expose crime.
If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Well, subscribe to his channel too. He does the best icebergs ever, bro. Like I be watching these shits, or like I be wanting to tell the whole world about it. That's how fucking crazy his icebergs are. And this he delivers. He delivers. So no, no D-riding or nothing. He when somebody's good at what they do, I give it to them. You know what I mean? So go subscribe to his channel if you have not subscribed yet. It is Abyssal Detective.
And show the struggles in his neighborhood. Ironically, one day Robinson's phone was stolen by one of his own family members, and instead of hiding it, he live-streamed his trip to the Wingate police station to report the theft. During the live stream, he stayed positive and even joked with officers, showing his usual calm and focused approach despite the frustrating situation. After leaving the police station while walking near Wingate University, a man in a black hood approached Robinson, and suddenly gunshots were heard.
Oh my god.
I just built a budgeting app.
What? How?
Base 44.
That's
Look,
crazy.
it pulls our expenses into one.
Robinson was killed on camera as his selfie stick fell to the ground. The next day, 65-year-old Douglas Colson turned himself in for the shooting. The motive has not been publicly confirmed, and it remains unclear whether the attack was targeted or random. The live stream of Robinson's death was removed from Facebook, but later some clips have been revived. And now they stand as a record of him losing his life in the line of exposing crime and trying to make his neighborhood safer.
That's sad.
The Michael Bosworth Jr. tragedy. On the 3rd of May 2025, just after 3 a.m., a 911 call came in. A man told dispatchers he believed someone was trying to break into his home. That man was Tyler Butler, a 27-year-old Virginia resident who had been jolted awake in the middle of the night. According to investigators, he reported hearing loud noises near his door and feared a burglary was happening. So in that moment, he grabbed a firearm and began shooting. When police arrived, the scene looked like a typical break-in. There were 3 teenagers outside the house. One of them, 18-year-old senior Michael Bosworth Jr., had been shot. Another one was injured, while the third one was unharmed.
Unnecessary.
That's when the story took a turn. On inquiry, detectives learned the teens hadn't come to steal anything. They weren't armed. Instead,
What the
they had
fuck
been
they
filming
wanted?
a ding-dong ditch prank for TikTok, like the old ring the bell and run joke done by multiple creators.
Well, that was not
They
smart.
reportedly tried it at other homes earlier that night, but at this house, the reaction was immediate and deadly. After the cops arrived, Michael Bosworth Jr. was rushed to the hospital, but sadly, he
That's
wouldn't
sad.
make it. At first, Tyler was not arrested, because under Virginia law, a homeowner is fully entitled to use force if they reasonably believe they're facing serious danger inside their home. But that word, reasonable, is everything. After reviewing video evidence, witness accounts, and the position of the teens when shots were fired, authorities concluded the force used went beyond what the law protects.
Really?
Hence, Tyler was charged with second-degree murder and related firearm offenses.
Because the kid
Chinese
was white.
crane operator. It was July
That's all
2021.
that was.
23-year-old Chao Qiu-mei was working high above the ground in Zhejiang Province, China. By day, she operated cranes to support her family, but she had also built a significant following online, sharing videos of her life and her job. That day, most of her colleagues had already left the construction site, and Chao was alone in the crane cabin. She began broadcasting to her fans, casually chatting and showing her usual routine. However, what began as an ordinary live stream quickly became catastrophic. In a sudden misstep, Chao slipped inside the cabin at a height of around 160 feet.
No, she's not
As
gonna
she
make
plummeted down, the phone remained clutched to her body, and every horrifying second of the fall was captured. Her cries echoed through multiple screens as her body struck metal structures on the way
Oh
down.
my God.
The scene was terrifying, but it was even more so because
my
it was being
God.
documented for the world to see. Tragically, Chao died on impact.
No,
Authorities
obviously.
later reviewed the circumstances, noting speculations about unsafe footwear or missing safety
Obviously,
gear.
she
However,
died.
her social media account was full of similar videos in similar attire doing the same routine every single day. After a thorough investigation, officials determined that her fall was an accidental slip rather than negligence or foul play.
Obviously.
Level 5. Nia Gang. It was another ordinary evening for thousands of TikTok fans, but what happened next shocked the community forever. Xavier Foga, better known online as Nia Gang, was live streaming one of his infamous TikTok battles in Jamaica, where he would invite other streamers and would engage in arguments, all while fans donated money and voted for the winner. His content centered around his over-the-top personality, heated arguments, threats, and constant push to outdo his opponent for donations and clout. That night, Xavier went live with a user named Rashawn. At first, it looked like the usual Xavier-coded stream, but then the tone shifted.
If you're 14 and you look for the refers, you're big man, you can get gunshot.
Well, all you, me not care if you are 9. Gunshot in your Let's go.
After saying Xavier should be shot, Rashawn casually mentioned he lived nearby.
I stop the my food come from in my life.
No. Not deal with country badness. Me live close to you, motherfucker.
That comment caught Xavier off guard. A random guy knowing his location meant the threat was not just part of TikTok now, it was catching up in real life as well.
Yeah, that
However,
sounds
before
scary.
Xavier could ask any questions, gunshots rang out.
And you say you a killer.
Never tell her that.
Xavier ran off camera while Rashawn sat across the screen, confused. Xavier was shot dead outside his home. Now, looking at the timeline, Rashawn appeared to be the primary suspect. The investigators, however, later cleared him of suspicion because while all of this was happening, Rashawn was sitting in front of his camera, presumably in his home. But the story didn't end there.
How the fuck did he
In
do it?
January 2025,
How did he
Jamaican
do it?
police announced a major breakthrough. They had allegedly identified the main suspect, Romaine Thompson, also known as Rumstain. Romaine had previously been linked to several criminal activities in Jamaica, but before he could face trial, he was
Wow.
killed during a police encounter. And with his death, any possibility of a courtroom trial and potentially a clear explanation of the motive behind Nia's murder was gone.
That's insane, chat.
Hey, bro, can you make me something that sounds like I just died, went to heaven in Japan, and some angels started singing to me?
Shut up.
Zachary Latham. What does it take to turn a neighborhood argument into a viral storyline? Well, when 18-year-old Zachary Latham from Vinland started posting videos about his car and small moments of his daily life on TikTok, he quickly realized that conflict pulled in more attention than any of his routine posts. The Durham family lived next door, and they had been frustrated with Zachary's driving for years, accusing him of speeding through their residential street and putting people at risk. Zachary saw the clash as a perfect opportunity, so instead of keeping those disputes private, he began filming the confrontations.
What are you gonna do, Karen?
That's not my name, so get my name straight. Go ahead.
What do you say? What do you think, Chad? You consider that right there antagonizing? You think that he was like provoking the people? Because this, I heard about this story right here.
You okay, Karen? Go ahead, get my tag.
Looks like he's provoking.
Get my tag,
if you
Karen.
ask me.
My name is not Karen, so get my name straight.
Get my tag, it's okay.
In a clip, he even mocked the neighbor's wife, Catherine Durham, calling her a Karen. The video did what he had been aiming to do from the start and gained millions of views. Commenters encouraged him, the engagement grew, and he began tagging posts Road to Fame. By April 2020, the feud had escalated. More arguments were recorded. The Durhams reportedly called police. But since it was early 2020, the pandemic, court closures slowed any formal complaints. Meanwhile, people online had nothing better to do, so they kept getting involved in Zachary's so-called Road to Fame. On May 4th, 2020, the situation reached its breaking point. After Zachary allegedly swerved his truck toward the Durham's teenage son, the family confronted him in the street. The exchange was heated and filmed. After that, Zachary drove home, armed himself with a stun gun and knives, and waited. The Durhams followed him there. A physical fight broke out outside his house, and during the struggle, William Durham Sr. was stabbed multiple times, including a fatal wound that punctured his lung. He died shortly after.
Now, was that
Zachary later claimed self-defense.
Now, was that worth it, Chad?
But the Durhams insisted he had provoked and escalated the conflict.
Yeah, but still,
But the court didn't factor that in, and in 2023, Zachary was found not guilty as they accepted his self-defense claim.
Even though
Obdulia Sanchez. On July 21st, 2017, 18-year-old Obdulia Sanchez was live streaming on Instagram while driving in California. She had her teenage sister Jacqueline and a friend in the back seat, and neither was wearing a seatbelt. Obdulia was obviously under the influence of alcohol and drugs. And on top of that, she was distracted and speeding. While streaming, she lost control of the car, swerved off the road, went through a wire fence, and overturned in a field.
Wow.
Jacqueline was critically injured and later lost consciousness, while the other teenager sustained severe wounds to her leg. During the aftermath, Obdulia continued filming, speaking to viewers as her sister lay critically injured. In the video, she can be heard saying, "Jacqueline, please wake up," while showing her sister's bloodied face. She also admitted,
I remember this
killed
too.
my sister, okay? I know I'm going to jail for
This was
life.
a big phenomenon
Keeping the
online.
camera on both herself and her sister. Now, we do understand Obdulia was intoxicated, but going to jail should have been the last thing on her mind, as her sister lay critically injured right in front of her. And as Obdulia had predicted, Jacqueline lost her life. The incident sparked widespread outrage, both for the reckless driving and the decision to keep live streaming rather than immediately calling for help. Toxicology reports later confirmed that Obdulia was under the influence at the time of the crash. Officials emphasized that the passengers were not wearing seatbelts, which contributed to the severity of the injuries. Obdulia was convicted of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated and sentenced to over 6 years in prison. And in this entire situation, the girl's family suffered the most. Valeria Marquez. Valeria Marquez was a 23-year-old beauty influencer in Zapopan, building a steady following with lifestyle and salon content. However, on May 13th, 2023, when she went live to chat with viewers, things took a bizarre turn. During the stream, she mentioned that someone had stopped by earlier and promised to return with an expensive gift. Minutes later, while holding a pink stuffed animal, she looked off camera and said, "They're coming." A voice in the background asked for her by name. She responds yes, then leaned over to mute the live stream as if it were just another brief interruption. Seconds later, gunshots rang out. Viewers didn't hear anything clearly, but they saw enough. The phone shifted and movement filled the frame. At some point, a face briefly appeared on camera before the stream abruptly ended. The woman was never recognized, nor was her link to Valeria's death ever publicly disclosed. Following the online streaming of the attack, authorities in Haselico opened a homicide investigation and said the killing was a possible femicide. For those who are unaware of the term, femicide is the intentional of a woman or girl fueled by misogyny. The case drew national attention, including statements from Mexican leadership promising justice. As of widely reported updates, no definitive public conclusion about the motive or suspect has been confirmed. However, once we looked at the stats, her death reflects a crisis much bigger than a live stream gone wrong. Mexico has recorded hundreds of femicide cases in recent years, according to official government data. And part of the reason why the numbers remain so high is that a large percentage of these cases never result in convictions. Fatty goes to Africa. If you were on TikTok in 2022, you'd probably remember Fatty Goes to Africa. He was a 29-year-old Chinese food...
Those food people, I don't know. Those ambak or whatever the fuck.
who had turned his love for food, travel, and culture into a massive online following.
Oh, okay. He was
Millions
like,
of fans tuned in
visiting
to watch
places.
his adventures across Zambia and beyond. Everything seemed perfect.
I thought it
until
was
the
one of
growing
those people
tension
that
in his
eat all
circle
the
took a dark
food
turn.
and shit.
Chen
Like,
had
they
once
got mad
mentored a
food in
fellow
their face,
influencer,
like,
Fang Zuihong.
I don't know about that, child. Like sitting there and eating a whole bunch of food for the sake of views, that's bad for your health. At some point in time, that shit gonna catch up to you, child. I don't know what to tell you, but you think that I'm gonna sit there and make eating food my top priority, like for views? No, not only is that expensive, but that is fucking like how sustainable is that? In 5 years, you're gonna be so overweight you won't be able to eat. You're gonna have to be put on a diet.
Helping him get started online. But Fang couldn't reach the same level as Jan. So, out of jealousy, he started making false accusations against Jan, claiming he had wronged him financially and personally. Those accusations didn't really affect Jan, and they had only fueled Fang's hatred. On December 4th, 2022, Jan was live streaming with friends at a busy market in Kathmandu, Nepal, joking about visiting Fang. That joke gave Fang the opening he had been waiting for. According to reports, Fang tracked Jan's live feed and followed him through the streets. When they reached a less crowded area, Fang attacked. Jan was stabbed multiple times in the chest, back, and abdomen, while one of his friends was seriously wounded. Viewers witnessed the chaos unfold as Jan tried to signal for help, but no one was stepping in immediately. His screams echoed across the live stream before the feed cut. Paramedics arrived at the scene, but it was already too late.
That is so savage.
Jan died from his injuries that evening.
Wow.
As for Fang, he was arrested and later sentenced to 25 years in prison, though the tragedy left millions of fans with the
25
question
years.
of how online
that sounds
rivalry
suitable.
can spiral into real-world violence.
That's crazy.
Level 6. Tetsu Shiohara. Mount Fuji is beautiful, but in the wrong season, it can be deadly. And
Mount
Tetsu
Fuji.
Shiohara found that out.
We gotta go over there, chat.
On October 28, 2019, the 47-year-old Japanese climber started a live stream ascent of the country's tallest peak. He wasn't new to Fuji. He had summited it before, but all his previous climbs had been during the official season, when trails are maintained, huts are open, and the weather is manageable. This time, he was climbing late on icy slopes with closed huts.
Why would you be climbing Mount Fuji late, my man? Are you fucking crazy? What the fuck? Oh man, I already see this shit going the wrong way.
And winds reaching 60 miles per hour. Almost immediately, Tetsu realized how underprepared he was. He had forgotten crampons, thick socks, and even food to lighten his backpack.
Food?
The snow was deeper than expected, and the trail had already collapsed in places. Viewers also noted the immediate red flags and warned him to turn back.
He should have turned back.
Hi, how you doing? Alright. Yeah. And you? No? Why not?
I don't think we have time for this.
Tetsu pressed on anyway.
He kept
His plan was
going.
to reach the summit and return in a single day. And for a while, it
boy.
seemed like he would make it. Despite the snow and wind, he kept climbing higher and giving updates to his viewers. But near the top, the conditions got way worse. Tetsu slipped on a steep, icy section, and his phone hit a rock as he tumbled. The livestream cut out instantly, leaving those watching in complete shock. Emergency teams rushed to the mountain, but the harsh conditions slowed them, and the rescue operation ended after 2 days. Tetsu's body was found 2,300 feet below where he fell. Most saw it as a heartbreaking case of misjudgment.
Oh,
However,
my
amidst
goodness.
the tragedy, people discovered another
Oh,
motive for
my
Tetsu's reckless
goodness.
climb. Reportedly, he was suffering from stage 4 cancer, and many believed he may have chosen this fate for himself.
Oh my goodness.
Jin Kid's live fight.
That's so sad.
On October 21st, 2021, a man walked into an apartment building in California.
That's
Security
sad.
cameras showed him moving through the lobby, then riding up to the 35th floor. Minutes later, multiple gunshots rang through the area.
Oh God.
The man was Ali Abulaban, better known online as
Oh,
Jin
God.
Kid, a TikTok personality who built
TikToker,
the
dude.
following off comedic skits and impressions.
He's a
But that
TikTok
year,
guy.
he was more famous for the public unraveling of his marriage with Anna Abulaban. Viewers had seen the arguments, the jealousy, and the live stream rants where he mocked.
Chat, what I'm saying, man, put it in the comment box. You telling me this shit was, this fucking guy right here lost it like that? Yo, it is hard to figure out who would do it to you, chat. You never know who's the person that's gonna do it to you.
And belittled her.
I bring you to San Diego for what? So you can run to your friends? You're not even an American citizen. I brought you to this country.
Name one man that would do that for you.
By October, they were separated. Anna was living in a high-rise apartment and Ali had moved out, but not entirely. Unknown to Anna, he had installed a listening app on their daughter's iPad before leaving.
See, this was the problem right here. He was being too nosy.
That afternoon, he claimed he heard Anna laughing with a man inside the apartment, and the man in question was her longtime friend, Rayburn Barron.
All you besties out there, be careful. If there's a jealous guy out there, he's coming for you.
What happened next unfolded with chilling precision. Ali armed himself, drove to the building, and used a copied key fob to get inside.
Nah, he
When he
crazy.
entered the apartment, Rayburn was shot first.
Don't ever do
then
this at
Anna.
home.
While researching for the case, the part that shocked us the most was that this wasn't the first time violence was involved. Police had already been called to their apartment during earlier fights. Anna had even reported abuse, but despite the warnings, no arrest was made. Which means October 21st didn't come out of nowhere. Ali's rage had been building up to it for months. After taking Anna and Rayburn's lives, Ali still wasn't satisfied, so he photographed the scene and sent the images to family members.
Oh,
Then he
hell
called
no.
his mom to confess his crimes. And just as he left the building, he dialed 911, pretending to have just discovered them.
Dispatcher 8107.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
that's
My wife
crazy.
and another man were, I found them dead on the couch. Bullet holes to the face.
Yeah, bye.
Why is he taking pictures of this
hold on,
shit?
sir.
Prosecutors argued this
No.
wasn't a crime of passion.
No.
Under California law, driving there armed,
premeditated.
entering with a copied key, and killing two people points to premeditation or
Mhm.
first-degree.
Are
He
you
ambushed
tired
them.
of sounding like this?
That's what he did. He literally ambushed them, Chad.
In the end, in 2024,
Oh,
the
fuck,
jury
he's
convicted and
crying?
sentenced him to life in prison.
He only
without
crying because he
parole.
got caught.
El Pirata. At only 17 years of age, Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales had already built the kind of online presence many
Oh,
adults
this guy
spend
right here,
years
yo.
chasing. He
This
was
is
known
a-
online as
a
El
what
Pirata
not
de
to do
Culiacan,
when you
and he
trolling.
rose to fame by posting videos of himself drinking
Do not troll the cartel. I'm gonna tell you, that's not a good look for yourself.
heavily, joking around, and leaning into reckless, larger-than-life personas. What started as shock value turned into a following of over 1 million people across platforms. For many viewers, he was entertaining. For others, he was a teenager spiraling out of control in public. But whether for praise or for criticism, people were still watching, and that's all he wanted. However, in December 2017, he
Careful
uploaded a
what you
video
ask
that
for.
crossed a sensitive line even by his standards. While intoxicated, he directly insulted Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, the alleged
Not
leader
him.
of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel.
You don't disrespect that guy or anybody in any cartel, let me tell you. As a social media influencer, you should just mind your fucking business.
Now, if you live in Mexico, you already know what we're talking about. And for those of you who don't remember, the Jalisco Cartel, also referred to as the CJNG, is the Mexican mafia that has long been associated with extreme violence and high-profile attacks across the region. And publicly mocking someone tied to that level of power wasn't just an edgy joke, it was a serious provocation. Still, because Juan's brand was built on outrage, the clip initially blended in with the rest of his content. But someone somewhere had already caught a glimpse of it, and the aftermath came only days later. On December 18th, 2017, at around 11 p.m., when Juan was at the bar in Jalisco with friends, armed men entered and opened fire.
Oh, I heard
Juan was
about
shot
this shit.
multiple times and killed at the
That
scene.
was crazy,
Another
let me tell you.
25-year-old bar employee also died in the attack. Authorities later identified Juan by his tattoos, and to this day, no one has been officially convicted of them.
And
In the
nobody's
larger
going
picture,
to be.
His death became part of an already established pattern of violence in Mexico. But in the context of online culture, it also
Chat.
showed how a persona built on fearlessness can collide with reality.
Nobody was going to tell. Nobody was going to tell who did it. Nobody was going to investigate it because we already know what happened there.
That don't operate by internet rules. Level 7.
Level
Tanatan
7,
Oris
chat.
Beltran. On January 8th, 2024, in San Rafael, 28-year-old
Ay, ay,
Tanatan
ay.
Oris Beltran
It gets
posted
way
a
worse.
series of erratic videos online appearing agitated
I'm telling you, these fucking icebergs, yo. This guy is, the best icebergs right here, man.
and disoriented. At one point, local police were contacted and officers interacted with her earlier that same day. According to reports, they were concerned enough about her behavior to prevent her from driving, but not enough to place her under an involuntary psychiatric hold. So she returned home. That same evening, she went live on Facebook. At first, viewers weren't entirely
She went live on Facebook. Oh my God. All her family saw it then.
Really sure what they were watching. The broadcast was chaotic. Tenson appeared on camera holding a knife. In the background, her mother, Olivia Lucia Beltran, could be seen injured. Some viewers thought it might be a misunderstanding, others immediately called 911. By the time officers arrived at the apartment, Olivia had suffered multiple stab wounds and was taken to the hospital. When we reviewed the initial case reports, we were shocked by the cruelty of Tenatson, but court documents revealed something entirely different. Tenatson had long been suffering from a schizophrenic disorder, and at the time of the attack, she was in the middle of a severe psychiatric episode.
You don't
This revelation changed the entire direction of the case.
Yo.
At the hospital, Olivia succumbed to her injuries. Prosecutors pursued a conviction while the defense argued she was legally insane when the killing occurred.
She's going to jail.
After deliberating for 3 hours, a jury found her not guilty by reason of insanity. And under California law, that verdict does not mean release. Instead of prison, she was ordered to be committed to a locked state psychiatric hospital where she will remain until the court determines she no longer poses a danger to the public.
Oh my goodness. She got a sweet deal.
Jesus Sarmiento.
That's a sweetheart
deal. In the world
deal.
of social media, fame can come fast, but so can danger.
Well, I think we got
Venezuelan TikTok star Gabriel Jesus Sarmiento Rodriguez,
God.
known online as Jess Sarmento. That danger was very real.
What did he
Jess
do?
was only 22, born in Caracas, Venezuela, but he had already become a voice for those who felt voiceless.
Okay.
Using his platform, he spoke about the economic hardships in his country and the corruption he saw in local authorities. But as his following grew, so did the risks. Jess began receiving threats from organized criminal groups and individuals angered by his outspoken nature. In June, he posted a cryptic video warning his viewers that he was being watched, even naming those he suspected were behind the threats. However, despite these warnings, he continued engaging with fans. On June 22, 2025, what started as an ordinary live stream quickly turned into a nightmare.
Oh my God.
Jess was in his home in Maracay, joking and interacting with viewers when the atmosphere shifted. Armed men suddenly burst into the room. 2 armed men briefly appeared on screen before returning to static, with distorted glimpses of chaos behind.
That's the emperor.
Jess's screams pierced through the feed, and before anyone could even understand what was going on, gunshots rang out.
Wow.
The live stream ended, leaving millions of viewers in shock. Authorities later confirmed his death and made arrests, but as of now, the investigation remains clouded by Venezuela's corruption and criminal networks.
Venezuela.
Inquisitor. A 23-year-old Italian creator known as Inquisitor Ghost rose to popularity with cosplay content, particularly bringing the silent, mysterious character Ghost from Call of Duty to life. But behind the mask, the pressures of social media were quietly mounting. As his following grew, Inquisitor hired an editor to help keep up with his content schedule. He praised her work openly, calling it fantastic, and even jokingly saying, "I love her." For him, these were friendly, supportive words.
That sounds like an obsessed man.
Yet in today's social media culture, even harmless words can be weaponized. A fellow TikToker, Tito, seized on these phrases and chat logs and deliberately twisted them to suggest that Inquisitor was grooming his young editor who, unbeknownst to him, was underage. The rumors spread rapidly, amplified by social media's insatiable appetite for scandal. Suddenly, the image of the friendly, positive influencer was completely destroyed. Those who used to love him turned on him. His content stalled and the harassment intensified. By October 9th, 2023, the psychological toll was clear. Inquisitor changed his profile bio to "I want to die" and went live hours later. Viewers saw only an empty room and a glass door. Objects began flying through the frame as his family broke in to intervene, but the unthinkable had already happened. Off camera, Inquisitor took his own life, leaving thousands of viewers in shock and grief. Later investigations revealed the cruel truth. The allegations had been fabricated. Chat logs showed that his editor had tried to initiate a relationship which Inquisitor repeatedly declined, and that Tito had orchestrated the false claims which he later apologized for.
Apologized?
It had already been too late.
The fuck? R.I.P. Inquisitor, that's fucked up. Them niggas got you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, go ahead and add his Patreon and go follow him. Go to YouTube.
These were the most disturbing moments caught live.
Crazy
the true
now.
horrors lie behind.
You might not be able to
names
sleep after
with
this.
No one to hold them accountable. Think you've seen it all? Let's test that with the most disturbing 4chan incidents Iceberg. Though, if you want to see more of this Iceberg, our free Patreon features cases so shocking.
Patreon, guys. Go
sign up.
So click
the link in the description and dive in.
Yep, Chad, that's all we got for today, man. Hope everybody enjoy yourself. Hope everybody liked it. I mean, we could drop another quick one real quick. Let me see, something short, like this one right here. Scariest real ghost sighting. It's only 32 minutes. Terra Ghouls. I don't know who he is.
6 disturbing videos that were never fully explained.
Like his shit?
Each
Throw him in the
clip was
playlist.
uploaded by ordinary people who weren't paranormal investigators, and who,
Let's
in many
hear
cases,
all about it.
stopped posting shortly after. From a hospital ward that wasn't as empty as it seemed, to a traffic stop that defies medical logic. These cases have left viewers divided for years. But the real question is, are we looking at clever coincidences or moments where something genuinely unexplained slipped through the camera? Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Yawa koresa. Halak kayo. May ungo to was. Yawa.
First, consider the force of the movement. Hospital privacy curtains are not weightless. They require a noticeable pull to move that abruptly. If this were caused by airflow, we would expect to see gradual movement, not a sharp, single-direction jerk. Second, notice the environment. There are no visible open windows, no fans, no cross breeze strong enough to create that kind of motion. However, skeptics point out something equally important. Old hospital buildings often have unstable air pressure systems. When doors close in distant hallways, they can create sudden pressure shifts that travel through large wards. In theory, that could move a curtain. But here's what keeps viewers unsettled. The movement appears targeted, almost deliberate. And to this day, the uploader has never returned to that location.
And strangely, that wasn't the only video where something seemed to move with intention.
For weeks, this homeowner reported hearing footsteps above his ceiling. Multiple inspections found nothing, so he decided to check himself.
Hello?
The heck is that?
Hello? Who is it?
Hey, yo. Did he fall? Chad, did he just fall down the stairs?
There are two moments that deserve closer attention. The first is the reported breathing sound. Audio in enclosed attic spaces can be extremely deceptive. Tight wooden structures often echo and distort normal house noises. Pipes cooling, wood contracting, even distant HVAC systems. In many cases, what sounds like breathing can be environmental noise bouncing in confined spaces. But the second moment is far harder to dismiss.
Oh, yeah.
The attic hatch. Watch the timing carefully. The hatch doesn't slowly fall. It slams, with force. For that to happen naturally, the hinge would likely need to be loose, unevenly weighted, or under tension. Possible? Yes. Common? Not exactly. What truly unsettled viewers was what happened after this upload. The homeowner never posted again. But the next case takes us far away from attics and deep into the forest.
Shapeshifter.
Before filming this trip, locals reportedly warned the vlogger about strange sounds in the trees, specifically something that mimics human voices.
Hey!
Yo, that's scary, bro. Yo, that's scary. How the fuck? Oh, fuck.
Hey!
From a biological standpoint, forests are full of animals capable of producing extremely human-like sounds. Foxes, certain birds, even some primates in specific regions can create vocalizations that, in the dark, sound disturbingly human.
How the fuck you explain that?
The glowing orb seen in the tree could also have natural explanations. Animal eye shine, when hit by direct flashlight beams, can reflect bright green or yellow light depending on the species. But there are two details that continue to bother viewers. First, the timing of the mimicry. The response appears unusually fast and tonally similar to the man's own voice. Second, the movement speed between branches. While some animals are incredibly agile, the motion here appears unusually fluid and directional. Still, without clearer footage, this case remains open to interpretation. But the next video is where things begin to get significantly harder to explain.
Oh, God.
Believing his home was being targeted by a jinn, this man decided to take matters into his own hands. What happened next is still heavily debated.
Please share. Please share with us. What the fuck happened?
There are two major points of discussion in this footage. First, the steam reaction. Boiling water thrown into cold night air will naturally create a large vapor cloud, especially if humidity levels are high. Under the right conditions, that steam burst can look extremely dramatic on camera. However, the second detail is what keeps believers convinced. The vocalization. The high-pitched sound heard at the moment of impact does not clearly match the man's voice or typical environmental noise. Could it be audio distortion? Possibly, but without the original raw file, it remains inconclusive. But the final case is the one that truly defies easy explanation. What began as a routine roadside check quickly turned into one of the most debated body cam clips online.
Sheriff Landon, can you tell me what's going on?
So, no,
all right?
I'm feeling good, yeah. Thank you, though.
Okay, so can I just see your license, please?
How old do you think I am?
Can I just get your ID and registration, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Hey, what? Ma'am, put that down now. I don't know if you have any weapons on you.
I am a weapon.
Yeah, right, you gonna fall down? Please stand up. Stand right in front of the car for me. Over here. Not there.
When you see your friends later tonight, what are you going to say about me?
Please stop leaning on the car. Please stand. Stop. Don't spit. No spitting and don't lean on the car. Stop spitting. No spitting. Stop spitting.
You think I'm pretty?
How many alcoholic beverages have you had to drink tonight?
2 beers in 9 hours.
You got 2 beers in
9 beers in 2 hours.
You had 9 beers?
9 beers in...
Or 2 beers.
19.
I need you to follow my finger with just your eyes.
I'm a disabled veteran, by the way.
Focus.
You and I should get out of here.
Don't move your body.
We would have sex.
What?
You can literally be real with me. Do you think I'm pretty?
Just your eyes. Don't move your body. You got a lazy eye or something? Stay right there. You will blow into this mouthpiece for 3 seconds. Do you understand?
I bet you like that.
Nice. Try that again. What is this? One more time.
What number do you want?
What?
What do you want? 1.6? 5.
Stay right there. Lady, back up. And when I say go, I want you to walk in a straight line towards me, all right?
Ralphie.
What's going on?
Hey, this chick's supposed to be dead.
What does that mean?
I don't know. The system says she died 3 years
Hey
ago.
guys,
Drunk driving.
I'm gonna go.
I don't know.
You are under arrest.
I'm joking.
Lady.
Are your body cams on?
Yes.
God! I know the government, I know the president, I know the social services.
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Like, I know it's not your guys' fault. I'm going through like a lot right now, and I'm on my period, and it's like I'm being choked.
You're under arrest.
No! I don't want to have to, guys, I do.
Let's start with the breathalyzer reading. A BAC of 1.65 is, medically speaking, incompatible with normal human function. Most individuals lose consciousness well before reaching even a fraction of that level. However, false breathalyzer readings can occur. They may be triggered by device malfunction, improper calibration, mouth alcohol contamination, or certain medical conditions. So, while rare, the number alone is not impossible. But the database record is where things become more complicated. Cases of mistaken identity in law enforcement systems do happen. Clerical errors, shared names, or outdated records can occasionally produce shocking results. Still, the woman's physical behavior in the footage, particularly the stiff, jerky movement pattern, has fueled ongoing debate. Some viewers believe it resembles extreme intoxication or neurological impairment. Others aren't so sure. And with no official follow-up ever released publicly, this case remains one of the internet's most unsettling mysteries.
Okay, what the fuck is that?
Hey, Dad, look at Carly.
Get up here, Carly.
Fuck?
What the hell was that? The hell was that?
The recording, frequently referred to as the Carly video, originated from a heavily wooded property in rural Ohio. The father was recording his son and daughter, Carly, during a game of tag. As Carly moves toward the camera, a biological anomaly emerges from the brush. It remains low to the earth, exhibiting a high-velocity gait that defies standard human or animal classification. Upon frame-by-frame analysis, as Carly rounds the garden perimeter, a pale, spindly figure is seen pursuing her on all fours. It maintains a low profile, seemingly hugging the terrain, before retracting into the thicket the moment the father turns the camera. The creature covers approximately 10 feet in less than 1 second. The father's immediate shift in tone indicates a genuine fight or flight physiological response. Observers have noted disproportionate limb length and a spinal arch inconsistent with local wildlife.
That's spooky. What the fuck is that? Go home.
In the deep timber of the American South, there exists a legend regarding an entity that does not merely hunt, it vocalizes with terrifying precision. This footage was captured by a hunter who encountered a sound that defies biological norms. This hunter believed he was tracking a buck until the air was ripped apart by a sound suggesting a massive lung capacity. The audio recording documents a sound too deep for avian species and too rhythmic for a mountain lion. Experts in wildlife acoustics have noted a significant shift. The sound transitions from a territorial roar to a mocking melodic wail. Pay close attention to the terminus of the trail. A dark, vertical silhouette waits in the blue hour. Whether it is a static object or a skinwalker mimicry designed to lure hikers off the path remains a subject of intense debate.
That's fucking spooky. Look at that. Look at that. It's not a fucking wolf. It's a house walking.
In November 2025, 2 hikers disappeared near Blackwood Creek, Wisconsin. This is the final footage recovered from their device. The recording begins in absolute darkness. At the 3-second mark, a pair of brilliant white ocular reflections appear in the brush. These eyes are positioned nearly 4 feet off the ground, while the creature is in a crouched stance, suggesting a massive physical frame. The most chilling aspect is the audio. A distorted, human-like voice is heard articulating the name Tyler. If this is a predator, it is one that has learned to use the names of its prey to create a moment of fatal hesitation.
That's spooky, my man.
Most intruders are after material possessions.
What
the
the
entity
fuck is that?
caught on this rural Ohio porch at 3:14 a.m. seemingly wanted
Yeah, that
nothing
is
more
fucking
than to be observed. The homeowner, Sarah,
scary.
noted an oppressive, heavy darkness on the feed. Close inspection of the left side of the frame reveals a shifting shadow that eventually manifests as a grotesque facial structure. The eyes do not reflect light. They appear as light-absorbing pits. Despite the violence of its lunge toward the camera, an inspection minutes later revealed 0 footprints in the fresh dew on the porch. Whatever was there
What the
lacked
fuck
physical
is
mass.
that? Explain that to me, somebody. Please, somebody explain that to me. Do not say a zombie. We know a zombie is not real. Stop it. What the fuck?
The Appalachian Mountains are some of the oldest on Earth, home to rules that locals live by. If you hear your name, know you didn't. This driver was parked at a scenic overlook when the vehicle began to shake with the strength of a silverback gorilla. In the side view mirror, a pair of glowing, predatory eyes stare back. The movement is calculated, utilizing the vehicle's blind spots to remain concealed. The heavy thuds against the metal are not the sounds of a prankster. They are the sounds of something attempting to breach a perimeter.
That's a predator.
Astaghfirullahaladzim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadar Rasulullah.
Nigga, run.
Subhanallah.
In Indonesian folklore, the kuntilanak is a feared spirit, but the red variation is whispered to be a harbinger of true malevolence. Captured at 3 a.m., the recording shows a figure clad in red hanging limply from the tree canopy. It remains perfectly still despite the wind.
I'm out of here.
The audio captures the man's panicked recitation of the Shahada as the entity's sharp, rhythmic cackle
That's why you don't see me ghost
echoes
hunting.
through the trees.
No.
In
No.
these cultures, it is said that if the laugh sounds far away, she is standing right behind you.
Ah, no mames.
¿Qué?
Pasó algo.
¿Qué pasó? No mames.
A ver, ven. No mames, pasó algo, te lo juro que pasó algo, ¿eh?
Se mueve, se mueve.
Vete a la verga.
Yo no voy.
No mames.
The following footage might be one of the most terrifying things to happen in a hospital in Mexico. During a night shift, several hospital staff members were relaxing in the lobby, laughing and enjoying their break. But suddenly, they noticed a patient slowly walking through the hallway. At first, nothing seemed unusual, until they realized something disturbing. The patient they were looking at had supposedly died a few days earlier. Confused and unable to comprehend what they were seeing, one of the staff members decided to go investigate. But when he approached the hallway, the patient suddenly vanished into thin air. Moments later, a nearby stool began moving on its own. What do you think really happened here?
If there's any ghost in this room, are you alive or dead?
What the fuck kind of question is that? Damn it, if it's a ghost, it's dead!
8 recordings.
At first, the disturbances were subtle. Doors that he remembered locking would be slightly open in the morning. Small objects would disappear from the kitchen and later show up in different rooms. Then the noises started. Heavy footsteps moving across the upstairs hallway when everyone in the house was asleep. Slow, dragging sounds behind the walls, sometimes even knocking, coming from inside the ceiling. Local relatives told him stories about spirits known as hantu, entities believed to wander through homes when something invites them in. But instead of calling a religious leader or abandoning the house, the man decided to test something. Late one night, he poured a line of powder across the floor in front of a closed doorway. His idea was simple. If something really was walking through the house, it would leave evidence. Hours passed. Nothing moved. Then suddenly, the door began to open, slowly, silently. The room behind it was completely dark, but when the camera moved closer to the powder, something appeared. Footprints, clear impressions forming one after another across the floor. The strange part, no one was standing there. No shadow, no movement, just footprints appearing where nothing existed. The man switched the camera to a UV mode, and under the ultraviolet light, the trail became even clearer. The glowing footprints continued up the staircase, step after step after step, until they reached a door at the end of the hallway, and just as the camera approached, the door handle slowly turned. The second video was captured inside a suburban home in Texas. The person filming had been documenting strange activity inside the house for several weeks. It began with lights flickering late at night. Then came the sounds, knocking from empty rooms, furniture shifting slightly across the floor. Sometimes the family dog would sit in the hallway, staring into a dark corner and growling at nothing. Eventually, the homeowner set up a camera in the bedroom facing the door. One night, the camera finally caught something. The door suddenly slams shut with violent force. The sound echoes through the entire house. But when the camera angle shows the hallway, no one is there. Several seconds pass. Then the door slowly opens again, halfway, as if someone is standing behind them, watching. Moments later, the person filming walks out into the hallway.
The house is completely silent. But as they move toward the kitchen, a loud crash erupts from the dining room. When the camera turns the corner, a dining chair violently slides away from the table, dragging across the floor. No one is touching it. No one is even close. And before the video ends, the bedroom door at the end of the hall begins slamming repeatedly, over and over and over again.
The area where the video was filmed sits near an older industrial district that locals say has a long history of strange sightings. Security guards working night shifts in nearby buildings have reported seeing figures standing between parked cars long after midnight. People walking home sometimes claim they feel like someone is following them, even when the streets are empty. One night, a man walking past a parking lot noticed something unusual. Inside a parked white car, someone appeared to be sitting in the driver's seat. At first, it looked normal, just another person sitting in their car. But something about the figure felt wrong. It wasn't moving, not even slightly. The man slowly approached. Streetlights reflected faintly off the car windows, and the figure's face became visible. But the closer the camera moved, the stranger it looked. The face appeared pale, unnaturally still, almost like a mask. The man stepped closer and zoomed in through the window. And suddenly, the seat was empty, completely empty. The figure had vanished. No doors opened, no movement, no one stepping out, just an empty car. But what makes the clip disturbing is what happens next. As the camera pulls away, the reflection in the car window briefly shows something behind the filmer. A dark shape standing just outside the frame. Then, the video cuts.
Many people believe this could be a trick of lighting or reflection. But others think the reflection in the car window reveals something even stranger. A dark shape standing behind the person filming, which raises a disturbing possibility. The figure inside the car may never have been sitting there at all.
A night security guard working inside an old building began hearing strange sounds coming from a storage area. Footsteps, metal doors closing, whispers echoing down the hallway. One night, he decided to investigate while recording.
So I'm in the bathroom right now. I'm not going to the bathroom if you're wondering. But I'm hearing like shuffling sounds outside the door. And I didn't put the camera. Bro, what the f was that? No. I swear to God, I heard like a woman talking in here. I swear to God, I heard a woman talking. What the fuck? Oh, no. No, I'm not doing that.
Inside the storage room, everything appears quiet. Then suddenly, a voice clearly says, "Get out." Seconds later, a heavy shelf violently jerks forward. The guard immediately runs. Unlike residual hauntings, where sounds repeat randomly, this voice appears to respond directly to the guard, which suggests something intelligent may have been present in the room. Workers renovating an old home discovered something buried beneath the floor. A wrapped
bundle containing hair, red liquid, and strange symbols. Local residents believed it was related to seer, a form of ritual magic.
According to folklore, objects like this are sometimes buried to curse the people living above them. If that belief is true, this object may have been placed there intentionally. Objects like these are believed to act as spiritual anchors, something that invites negative energy into a home.
The final video claims to show a ritual taking place somewhere in Eastern Europe. Three figures appear suspended above the ground while flames burn beneath them. A glowing symbol lights the floor, but the footage looks almost too perfect. While disturbing, the lighting and positioning suggest this clip may have been staged. But it still raises an interesting question. Why do people continue recreating rituals connected to ancient occult practices?
The internet contains millions of strange videos. Most of them are easy to dismiss. But every now and then, a clip surfaces that refuses to be explained. A door that opens by itself. Footprints appearing where no one stands. A voice answering from an empty room, or a figure sitting inside a car that disappears the moment you get close. Maybe these are tricks. Maybe they're coincidences. Or maybe, every once in a while, someone accidentally records something that was never meant to be seen.
Well, there you go, Chan. You see what the hell's going on. There you go, Chaz. You can see those are disturbing icebergs. And we're going to find something nice. Oh, shit. Hayden Ross boxing event is a mess. No. I think I want to play some PlayStation now. Hope you guys are ready for some PlayStation. I'm going to log off for a moment. Then I'm going to log back in. And we're going to start some PlayStation Black Ops. So you already know, chat. We'll be rendezvousing here in the next 15 minutes. Peace.